Prepare to have your minds blown as we venture into the mystical worlds of connections and symbols, ladies and gentlemen. We detect an apparently little yet oddly significant link in Kain blowing bubbles, similar to the story of Cain and Abel in religious mythology. Have no worry, though. A more profound reality is concealing behind these coincidental similarities. As we explore the mysterious digital circus, we come across the terrifying idea of abstraction, in which one's identity is eroded to a frightening shell of its former self. Angels and religious themes blend with a creator's vision in this digital environment, which is slowly but surely revealed through cryptic hints and minute details. Come with me as I seek to unravel the secrets of the amazing digital circus and reveal the deep truths concealed inside its digital walls. And when you finally snap, terrible things can happen. We meet Koffmo the clown, or rather, the remains of him, and observe the consequences of this abstraction firsthand. My goodness, a division has been made in Koffmo. I found fresh details after perusing Goose Works' tumbler, even though I wasn't sure whether we had enough information the last time to fully determine what was happening here. She asserts that abstracting entails more than simply becoming into a monstrous, mad being. It is undeniably a part of it, but the deeper significance is trickier. The claim made by Gooseworks is that when one abstracts, they lose touch with who they are. Your individuality is completely obliterated, and you become completely unrecognizable. Like, why bring up that particular cake kind here? Once more, we experience an odd, seemingly sudden relationship between religion and angels. However, the way the show's creator, Gooseworks, describes the digital circus has to be the most convincing argument for why we can make connections between this series and all of these religious concepts. He is cruel. He trips them, knocks them down, and carelessly treads on one of Gangle's masks. He utilizes the knowledge that Ragatha's greatest fear is of centipedes to torment her. Please let me know if you find anything that I might have left in your room today. I take it that you're not terrified of centipedes? Jax. That's the only worry I have. Why would you act in this manner? It's obvious that Jax is a bad person. That means we're stuck in hell if Gooseworks is implying that he deserves to be in the circus more than most people. However, just because someone is in hell doesn't indicate that hell will always be a fiery place with lots of flames. You guys went crazy recommending this one to us across comments on GT Live and our subreddit. It's pretty darn easy to see why, between the amazing animation Gable moments, and incredible cast of characters, and a storyline wrapped up in like 18 different layers of mystery, this is the perfect show for us to dive into. That means that if you haven't watched the first full episode, you should. The talented artist who also composed music for both Hasbabin Hotel and Hell of a Boss, and their creativity and experience, really come through with this one. Just so we're all on the same page for today's theories, go watch it after this one. It centers around a woman named Pomni, who is thrust into a strange digital world modeled after a circus alongside 5 other humans. Jax is a charming jerk. Wrath is a sweet optimist Gangle who can't hide her emotions. Zubal is made out of a bunch of random objects. I'd be surprised if you hadn't already watched it. The entire circus is run by a ringleader named Kain, who, according to the show's website, is a, quote, wacky eye, and all of the humans are just subject to his every woman's desire. Godzies, you're right, Jax. We should have a brand new adventure for our new member. Pomni, I said that like 5 minutes ago. But the humans don't necessarily want to go on these adventures, and they're constantly trying to find ways of getting out this situation. Kinger is the one who has been trapped there the longest and has gone kind of crazy as a result. Has even driven some of them insane, turning them into monsters. For example, the clown Koffmo was obsessed with finding the exit and started to act like an abstract right before Pomni arrived. But even when Pomni manages to find the exit in this pilot episode, it just leads to repeating office spaces and end hallways, which are essentially the back rooms. It turns out that Kain created this fake exit in an attempt to give the humans what they, After this first episode, we essentially leave the colorful cast of the Amazing Digital Circus because there is so much world building here for us to delve into, and so many questions that we want the answers to, like who is behind the Amazing Digital Circus, and is there an ending? I do have to apologize for lying about the exit because I was having so much trouble figuring out what to put on the other side and ended up never quite finishing it. Characters like Koffmo really gone? Or can they be brought back in some way? I'm sorry to say that I don't have many answers for those questions. But in comparison to how much Gooseworks packed into the first episode, they've done the wise thing and given us plenty to theorize about. This leads me to these 3 incredible theories about the digital circus. Don't rush for the exit doors just yet, my friends. Let's start off on a smaller note. According to theory number 1, the entire show is set in a video game that takes place in the late 1990s. This is illustrated throughout the first episode, for instance, with the pixelated title card that clearly pays homage to classic PC, PlayStation, and N64 games. This theme is furthered in a hidden video that can be found on WackyWatch.com, a URL that is displayed on screen during the episode and displays the game's main menu. Additionally, we witness a flower pot fall to the ground and clip into it, resembling a classic source engine glitch. Kain also mentions that he created the digital world in the strange backroom office area in a manner that is very similar to how a game developer would create world spaces. Pomni's statement that she put on some weird headset and now I'm here again, when she first enters the world, implies that the entire thing is a game, was thrust into the world of the digital circus. All of that makes sense and ought to be fairly apparent to the casual viewer. But what you might have missed is that this is set in the late 1990s, not the present, as you might assume from something discussing the use of virtual reality headsets. There is a lot of evidence that leads us to this conclusion. To start, almost every piece of technology we see in the series appears to be from the 1990s, whenever we see a computer in the A. As an example, one of the most well-known representations of hell is found in the play Oui, close by French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre. Or No Exit, to put it in English. 3 individuals who have been sentenced to hell are brought into the same chamber and kept there. However, they discover a cozy chamber instead of a torture chamber. Certainly not what you would have expected. However, as these 3 get to know one another through conversation, they discover they are not compatible. They irritate one another. They twist the knife and press each other's buttons until one of them understands, "This is the torment. Hell is other people," goes a well-known theatrical quote. That sounds just like the digital circus that we see here. There are 6 individuals there that may not get along well with one another. Furthermore, despite their politeness, they all still find ways to irritate one another. They pretended to laugh at one another's jokes and took advantage of each other's worries. The worst aspect of all, though, there's no way out. More specifically, I think we can infer a fair amount about Pomni's plot arc from the religious iconography. You see, Pomni is the Jesus Christ of the digital circus. That sounds crazy, I know. Sounds insane enough for one of those out-of-context MatPat compilations I keep seeing online. But if you truly take the time to stop and look at them, the links are there. Remember what I mentioned previously on the Last Supper scene. Pomni is presented as the focal point, precisely where Jesus is seated in the artwork. Her color palette is the same as Jesus's. Like Pomni's jester costume, his garments are divided into 2 colors, red and blue. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to tell you everything I wanted to tell you. But if you subscribe to the channel and put a like, then very soon I will make another video where there will be even more interesting theories.